Mic check. Back at it, man. Let me get my setup going. Relax a little bit. I feel. Miss me. Missed you. Mm. Been a long time, boy. I said good 2 weeks. Boy went to go play basketball. And quiet as kept. I'm about done playing pickup with niggas, man. Trying to get some cardio, standing in place. Folks run right at my face. Almost broke my whole jaw, boy. Yeah. Piece of my face swelling up. I was standing in place, folks. Oh, everybody can't hoop, man. You can't even trust these N words. Not with your health, boy. You think you out trying to get some cardio. Next thing you know, folks trying to send you on over to the clinic or to the ER. Trying to figure out where that tooth is and why your jaw's starting to swell up on one side. Won't be me. No, sir. Down, I play 2-ball. I ain't even playing 21 no more. I'm take my ball and I'm going to the other side of the court. I ain't got time to be playing around with y'all folk. Shoot. Economy bad. You want me to pay some hospital bills? Yeah, all right. But nah. Been a solid 2 weeks, man. I've been missing it. Want to get back out here and get back on the pod. Get a lot of these opinions back out. Cause, man, it's been a lot of things going on in life. A lot of situations there. I'm seeing things happen. Then I'm hearing the conversation around a lot of these topics. You know, I'm just like, what? The crazy situation right where it's one thing to see something outrageous happen. And you just like, is that real? Ain't no way that's for real, right? And then it's another thing when you see the conversation around it make it even more outrageous. Where you just like, I can't believe what just happened, but I can't believe what y'all saying about what just happened. Like this is a outer body experience. So yeah. It's human, I guess, to want to bond over something, to have your perspective validated over what just happened. But then to have the opposite happen, you just like, yeah, I don't even think I experienced what y'all just experienced. That's a crazy situation. But such is the case in this situation, or in a lot of situations in life, honestly, because it's crazy. I'm going back and forth trying to figure out what I even want to watch, boy. Really, I've been tapped out of the NBA. That's one of the conversations that I've been waiting to have, and probably end up being one of the topics this week because I was talking about it a little bit before in one of the previous episodes on if the NBA don't get their ish together, you're gonna lose fans. The actual genuine fans who care about product. And the only people who are gonna be left are excuse me, mainly just going to be the people who are gambling. And that's going to be the worst conversation you can have because they don't care about the product. They're going to make it real uncomfortable for everybody involved because only thing I care about is, did you win me some money or not? And for anybody that's never been to a gambling house, like, it's not really the best environment you want to be in, where you're not really in a comfortable spot. Like, you turn the NBA players into basically the dealers at casinos. Nobody likes the dealers at casinos. Nobody cares about the dealer at a casino. It's, am I winning some money or not? When you win some money, you're not celebrating the dealer. Hell, if you tip the dealer, they might get in trouble. They probably will get in trouble. I don't know the laws behind that, but same with players. And if you lose some money, you're going to hate that nigga. There's only two options. It's, I don't give a fuck about you, or I hate you. It's going to be the same outcome when you dealing with gambling with sports. And NBA being heavily invested in this area of the world, starting to lose interest of the real fans. The product isn't good. The people who gamble, they don't care about what it looks like. I don't even have to watch the game. As long as I can keep track of, hey, keep collecting these stats, hit these parlays, make me some money. That's all you got to do. I don't even have to watch it. But NBA, you don't make that much money off of gambling. You make money off of entertainment. You have to entertain. And your product is no longer entertaining the way it used to, so people aren't tapping in the way they used to. Or they'll see in the numbers eventually, you know. One of those situations where people would rather the problem be too big than get ahead of it. And football will be the same way. The more violence they take away from it. Only reason people watch because it's legal violence. I get to see other people harm each other. That's the intrigue behind it. The more they lean closer to flag football, the less participation you're going to get from fans. But it's neither here nor there, right? It's a quick little rant. Ooh, excuse me. The real conversation, right? Because the name of the episode is what it is. Attacking something that's, it's right in your face, but nobody really want to talk about it. Just because we in the stage of life where you got to stand on some shit now. And not just in one large situation, but in every situation that you come across, every opportunity that you have to stand on something. Not really this side or that side. Not so much love or hate, but here's the boundaries of how this is going to go down. You got to set the rules, right? The biggest polarizing figure, of course, sports altogether, Shedeur Sanders. This time last year, he was in the mix. And you'll see that all the names that I named have something in common. Shedeur Sanders, Arch Manning, Bronny James. Biggest polarizing figures, or at least in sports. All of them family related. So, question of nepotism comes into play. With Bronny, it fell off simply because, as with sports, your play is going to speak for itself. And regardless of any of the conjecture that was being dished out, any of the outrageous opinions from this side or that side, I had to play the game. And the play said, not quite ready. And as a result, people moved on. He continues with his career. Nobody's heavily invested on this side or that side. And again, a lot of the conversation about Bronny is not really about Bronny. It's more so about his dad. You know, nepotism. And you get to Arch Manning. Your family got a history of being in this position. You committed to a big time school. Nobody's really in the weeds of recruiting to even argue or debate the credibility of your recruitment, because nobody's really in the weeds of high school recruiting. Leave that up to the scouts, because it's stressful work trying to compare this guy to that guy, figuring out who's the best decision, right? So we're going to wait for you to get to college. And once you get there, then we're going to be critical of your performance. And with his, race comes into play, because you're comparing it to Bronny. With Bronny, your dad's LeBron. So nepotism, we don't really, when black people do it, we're not really a fan of it. So we're going to be more critical of Bronny than Arch. And then with Arch, you're not performing up to par, but you white, so it's all right. We'll give you more leeway to eventually get there. And you, the second generation of nepotism, where similar decisions were being made with your uncle, Eli. And it was all right because it's all white. So we'll let it slide. So Arch Manning and his nepotism has been grandfathered in to sports and sports debate. So everybody typically just lets it slide. But the difference between the race and the sports that the nepotism is, or quote unquote perceived nepotism is being participated in, it makes it hard to compare apples to apples. So you get Shedeur Sanders. This is a perfect comparison. You've got two players whose family played the game they played. Same exact position, different race. And the responses that you get, completely different on both sides. Arch still being in college, he's still trying to prove himself. He's probably not going to win any awards during the award season. Playing in the SEC on a pretty talented, but not the best team, but enough talent to win, and having enough opportunity to prove yourself, if you could. Shedeur Sanders on the other side, going from HBCU, FCS team, dominated, racking up all the awards you possibly could. Then you go to the Big 12, Colorado. Not the most talented team, but again, enough to compete. Again, nowhere near championship, just like Arch Manning. Less talent, but nowhere near a championship, but did well in postseason awards. Interesting conversation, because your college career without the name would suggest drafted high, given opportunity on the next level, because that's what the history of college football says. But the response with him has been real weird, bro. Like, I'm gonna try to pick this up because, yeah, we getting back into it. It's been a couple of weeks, right? But starting to address the sideways conversations, because now he's graduated, he's gone on to the next level, and of the three, Arch Manning, the conversation behind him has died down because, again, with Bronny James, we watching the play, and the play is saying, yeah, you're not quite there. But now we getting the same opportunity now with Shedeur Sanders, where now it's time for your play to let us know where you are. And for some reason, in this example, people don't really care about the play at all and not really interested in the play. Just my opinion is my opinion, and I'm going to discredit or I'm going to glorify the play to buffer my bias, my preconceived bias. And of the three situations, this is the weird one, because with Bronny, people who thought he weren't ready, they weren't going, see, now he should never play again. Or the guys with Arch Manning where, man, Arch is really underperforming. Nobody is going, yeah, go ahead and just hand him the Heisman right now. He doesn't have to play again. Or nobody saying, man, bench him and we moving past on to the next QB. Shedeur Sanders is, of the three, the only one where people are going, yeah, he don't deserve a shot. So in every other situation when it comes to sports, your play is supposed to do the talking for you. But in this situation, people don't care whether you play or not. Just my opinion of you is what it is. I believe you either great or I believe you terrible. And my opinion of you is what matters more than what actually comes to fruition. And it's kind of a byproduct of the times we living in, but I wanted to actually go through the conversation because I've had conversations with folks on both sides to try to get a well-rounded perspective of what's really going on, right? It's my perspective, 2024, when Caleb Williams was still in college, watching quarterbacks play, I'm thinking, okay, for a quarterback, your main job is to be able to process information, regurgitate information, manage the game, maneuver the football down the field to score points for your team. That's the job for the quarterback. And in the rare situations where we just trying to run the clock out, manage the game. And of all the quarterbacks I saw playing, I thought Shedeur did the best job of matriculating the football down the field. And when it was time to just hold on to the ball, hold on to the ball. Better than Caleb Williams, better than Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck. I thought he was the best I saw at that time. But a year passes and new situations occur. And now he makes it to the league, right? Where he's drafted in the 5th round. There's conjecture about whether he was supposed to be drafted in the 5th round or whether he was supposed to be drafted higher. Then he's the backup behind a 41-year-old, which is the definition of a bridge quarterback, is an old man. A quarterback who has been passed on by 3 different teams and has all the signs of backup quarterback. A 3rd round pick who was picked 2 rounds before him that people had preconceived notions would be a backup quarterback. And then him. Like, okay. Again, with sports, the whole purpose of sports is your play is supposed to do the talking for you. When given an opportunity, you're either going to perform or not perform, and somebody else will get the next opportunity. But this is one of the rare situations where public opinion seems to be actually impacting the sport or the opportunity for sport to participate and play itself out. And like, is it because his fans are just fanboying too much? Are his haters too loud? Like, and which side actually seems to be more consistent? Which train of thought seems to be more respectable? And that's what I call the legendary theorem, right? Where you're either doing things so well that you're acquiring haters and that you have staunch supporters, or you were just so terrible that people are trolling and using you to troll others to believe that you're good, or people are dignified in their response that you just are not what you should be. And I just asked a few of these questions and just compared the answers, because the thing about the truth is pretty consistent. It's one story. This is how things go. This is how things are. And here's why. When you get multiple different answers and excuses for things, that's when you start to see some bullshit. For this situation, right? Put the questions on one side. The people who are for Shedeur and the people who are against him, separated the answers so everybody could see the answers quite clearly. And the people who are for Shedeur, there's been one common thing where there has been an absolute murky feeling of distrust and regret that there's some kind of evil perspective or hotline going on behind the scenes in which people are doing their best to put him behind the 8 ball. Right? There's a situation where people are going out of their way to make him uncomfortable. The word being collusion. People are colluding against him. People who are against him, they believe that the power of his father and nepotism is overpowerful, just completely impacting the entirety of his career. And that's an interesting situation, right? Where you got on one side collusion, where there's always going to be some validity to collusion, because it's been proven that NFL owners have been colluding and do collude consistently for whatever reasons they can find, have been taken to court for colluding and been proven they collude. But why in this situation? And the answer to why that you'll pick up from former players and you'll pick up from anybody who in the know is there is a genuine dislike for his father because of how he carried himself. You couldn't humble him because he was that great of a player. And when you hear that, it's like, that there's credence to that. A black man was confident in his performance, and there was nothing that a white man could do to discredit him, because he was simply describing experiences and things that played out in public. I'm great. You just watch me be great. I'm going to tell you I'm great because I'm great. And the underlying thing behind this entire conversation is the racism of it, where if you white and you do the same thing, perfectly fine. Joe Namath made it into the Hall of Fame by bragging, being braggadocious, and he's probably the worst Hall of Fame quarterback in history. You look up his stats, terrible player, but told you he was great. White people loved him for it. Deion Sanders is considered the greatest at his position of all time. Undoubtedly, like there's no argument behind it. And he hated for it. That's the for side. That's the background for the for. The against. Nepotism. your father is so powerful that he's pulling strings behind closed doors to get you opportunities. Then you start to question, all right, what's the validity to that? If he was pulling strings, why was he passed over into the 5th round? Because even though the logic behind that is even though he's pulling strings to get him opportunities, there's only so much leeway that teams could give him. There's only so much clout that he has behind closed. He has clout, but there's only so much. And he had a brother that came out with him. His brother is no longer on the NFL roster. Didn't even make a practice team. So why was one brother given an opportunity and the other one not? If it's based on nepotism. See the inconsistency. But again, I'm not here to call anybody a liar. It's just the truth is simple. I'm gonna keep the truth simple. And you got to deal with me, man. First day back, boy excited. I'm trying to reteach myself how to have this conversation in public so as to explain myself thoroughly, not offend anybody, or not let things be open for interpretation, to communicate thoroughly and accurately. Efficiency, right? So a few of these questions that I asked, because I'm trying to figure out why. The whole point of this exercise, what is up with this dude right here that makes him so polarizing? So, first question, right? Who is he? The people who for Shedeur say he was the best quarterback from the 2025 draft, which included Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shook, Dylan Gabriel, going through my mind, was there another quarterback pick? Don't think so. There might have been one more. He was either the 5th or 6th quarterback taken. So his supporters were like, based on his stats and his performance in college and what was available to him, he performed the best in college. That equates itself to him being the best option from the 2025 draft. People who are against him. Who is he? He's a Nepo baby. He's only in the league because of his dad. Again, the question goes, how come he's in the league and not his brother? If it's a nepotism situation. Because I can guarantee you, Bryce James is going to get an opportunity in the NBA. So why isn't Shiloh Sanders if it's nepotism? Is it a limit on power or? Next question, how was his play? His most staunch supporters will say, yeah, pretty average, but with flashes. And that's what you expect from a rookie quarterback. Got some ups, got some downs, but the ups are some that say this could be an amazing player. The people who are against him, absolutely trash. Doesn't play well on time, takes too many sacks, doesn't see the field, can't process information, inaccurate. Regardless of what he did in college, yeah, that was all his dad and playing with a receiver that won the Heisman. He threw for 4,000 yards, but he had a Heisman receiver that must have caught for 4,000 yards. He played for his dad, so his dad must have been playing quarterback too. Interesting situation. Then you ask about his peers. This is where things get really dicey. Where, again, the people who are for Shedeur will tell you he's the best of his group. Cam Ward has been terrible this year. Jackson Dart has some good moments, but is a crash out with a short career ahead of him. Tyler Shuck. Dylan Gabriel. And then you even take it past that and you go into the next year's, the year's draft before that, where Caleb Williams, up and down. Jaden Daniels, injury prone, is looking like there's looking rough for him. Multiple injuries already. JJ McCarthy. Michael Penix. Will Howard. But that's what's been spoken on by the people who are for Shedeur. Now, you ask the people who are against Shedeur, compare him to his peers. What replies do you get? Nah, shit. Because there's no justifying a public lynching. It's just, this is what we want to do, and here's why we want to do it. You're not comparing it to other situations, and you're not speaking about whether it's justified or not. When you want to do evil, all you can do is justify that evil in the moment. Anything that gives perspective to it nullifies it. Personality. What kind of person is he? And for Shedeur, this is a pretty simple situation because of the three, him, Bronny, and Arch, he grew up in the spotlight. Because who his father is, he's literally grown up in front of the cameras. Does interviews, majority of his playing career, presents himself as a humble kid, supremely confident, and his confidence is based in his faith and hard work. People who are against him, he's fraudulent. He's faking being humble. He's over cocky, and he's only cocky because of his dad. His entire existence is validated by the existence of his father. He is not a man separate from his father, and he has no accomplishments separate from his father. Does he deserve an opportunity? His supporters say he deserves a fair chance. And this question right here is the underlying question behind the entire conversation. Who are against him says he doesn't deserve a chance at all. It's nepotism. And the opportunity question is the one that leads itself into why he's polarized in the first place. His performance in college led him to be ranked as either the first or second most talented quarterback from his draft. And when drafts were projected, he was projected to go either be the first or second one taken. Somewhere in between the combine and the draft, things flipped so egregiously. He went from the first quarterback, potentially the first quarterback taken, to he shouldn't even play in the NFL. Where in the same calendar year, he was ranked as projected to be the first quarterback taken. So when you're looking at this situation, you're like, how can somebody go from being the best overall to not worth being considered? And then he was drafted in the 5th round. And when you look at the history of how that played out, and then you look at his performance in college and what history has told us about quarterbacks specifically, it's like, what is playing out is not making sense. There's a song and dance that usually goes about when people want to manipulate situations through the media, where we don't like how he did this and that. where you can drop information in the media to sway public opinion. And then once you sway public opinion, then it's easy for you to make decisions either or against something. When people want to support you, they drop things in the media that sway public opinion to support you. When they want to do the opposite, they'll drop negative information. And his was one of the craziest situations where, similar to Laramie Tunsil, where you projected to be the greatest. And then out of nowhere, some information came that was just like, you know what? No. Matter of fact, terrible person. Then you get to the people who don't support him. They're like, he doesn't deserve an opportunity, regardless of what he did in college, regardless of any of his performance beforehand. No, we don't like this about him, so he shouldn't get an opportunity. We don't personally like him, so he shouldn't get a chance to live out his dream. That's a lot of shit, right? And all of that is basically to say that it's basically a conversation about race. And that's what makes Shedeur Sanders so polarizing, is that it's just a conversation of, how dare you and your black ass behave like this? If you was white, it would be okay. But you and your black ass, how dare you? We're going to humble you. We're going to break you, try to rebuild you so that you know your place. And I know this to be true because when you compare the complaints that they have about Shedeur Sanders to complaints that they have about, not even complaints, when you compare the complaints that they have about Shedeur Sanders to the actions of others, it's like that's the exact same thing. The only difference is the person doing it. We hate that he turns his back to the line of scrimmage and takes deep sacks. I was watching Thursday Night Football and legitimately watched Josh Allen do that exact same thing. Trevor Lawrence does the exact same thing. Kyler Murray does it all the time. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, J.J. McCarthy. You can go down a list of players and you can watch do these same things, but there's always going to be a qualifier. They were taken in this round. Oh, okay. So you're going to submarine when he was drafted, and the round he was drafted then gives a qualifier that he can no longer get away with those things that they can get away with because of when he was drafted, regardless of what the play looks like. They can play exactly the same, but that's first round, that's fifth round, so you don't get a pass back. He's overly confident. Every quarterback in the NFL has to be. If you play in the NFL, you have to be confident. If you're a quarterback, you have to be uber confident. That's how you play the position. It's confidence based. As an athlete, it's confidence based. Your dad's a distraction. Archie Manning legitimately told the San Diego Chargers that Eli Manning will play anywhere but there. So they traded him. His dad stepped in and said, "You're going to do what I say or else." There's always an example or an excuse that people have for him. But you're not having a real conversation. You're just using him as a figurehead for a conversation that you don't really want to have. I really wish the quarterbacks was all white, because we're tired of these niggas. If you white, we'll let you get away with it, but tired of these black guys. And we can't just outwardly say we're tired of these black guys because we don't want to be publicly shamed. Don't believe me. Folks will celebrate Josh Allen as the best quarterback in the NFL. He has never been better than Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, but he'll be celebrated as such. Jalen Hurts. Doesn't matter. If you white, you'll get farther. Because it's that if it's white, it's right mindset. They just can't get rid of it. So, just going to have to keep dealing with it until the quarterbacks are white again. Because J.J. McCarthy has probably been the worst first-round quarterback in like the last 15 years. But he's white, so he gets a pass. Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the best quarterback since Andrew Luck. Neither of them amounted to anything so far. But they're white. Jamarcus Russell, considered the biggest bust of all time. How many quarterbacks have been drafted in the first round? Pretty high up. Why is he the biggest bust? In the 80s and 90s, I'm pretty sure somebody was doing coke, getting drunk, getting high. Todd Marinovich. If you never heard about the Todd Marinovich project, look it up. Not considered the biggest bust of all time. Because the conversation is the conversation. Shedeur is just the new face to be the figurehead of it. Interesting enough. But the only way to counteract the conversation is to just address the conversation. You don't really care about Shedeur. You just mad that it's a nigga out here. You don't want black people to be happy. And even if they are happy, you want them to be happy how you're comfortable with them being happy. Yeah, you can eat, but you shouldn't be eating the same shit that I eat. Yeah, you can have a house, but don't have a house near my house. Yeah, you can live, just as long as I don't have to see you living. That's the mindset behind it for real. And the thing is, anybody who's been aware, they understand that white people can't even help themselves no more. They do it and don't even notice that they're doing it. The real problem is when you see black people doing it. That's when you got to go super hard. Because white people, you just got to slap them and they'll understand. It's not safe around here. When you see niggas doing that Sambo shit, nigga, get your mind right. You're not getting no whites only pies. They're not going to let you in the club, Uncle Ruckus. That self-depreciative mindset. If you going to hate black people that much and white people don't even love you, do both sides a favor. Kill yourself. Yeah.